Homeschooling is whenever you're schooled at home.
Homeschooling is when you take your children or child out of public school to school them at home.
Homeschooling is a way to educate your children in your home environment, away from the public school system.
I think families would choose to homeschool because maybe they have religious beliefs that don't correlate with public schooling. And they might also have a child that has a learning disability. And maybe they're behind in certain subjects, or maybe they're above in certain subjects, and they want to school them on their own level.
I think families would choose to homeschool if they don't agree with how public school is run, or maybe if they would just prefer to do things differently than how public school or private school is, or maybe if they can't afford to do private schooling, or I don't know, maybe even just if they don't have a car and can't really get around and be involved, and so they choose to do it at home. I think a lot of times it's for just personal beliefs.
There's a variety of reasons that families would choose homeschooling. It allows for more one-on-one instruction, and usually if a parent can do that, they'll do that if they're available. They're not working or whatever. And another reason may be religious reasons, or if they're wanting their child to be sheltered from other things and only want to learn what the parents want them to learn.
I think that homeschooling could provide a child the benefit of being able to work at their own pace when they do their schoolwork. And they could also learn more in one subject if they're interested in a specific subject.
I think that homeschooling could be beneficial to children because public school, I feel is designed for a very specific type of student. And if you don't learn in that manner, then it's not good for you. It's not beneficial. It's hard for you to keep up. And
I think the benefits could be the child could even possibly get ahead of other students that would be in public school because they're allowed the altering of the academics to what they need or whatever, so they're not being held back waiting for other people to get the material and stuff.
I think one disadvantage for sure would have to be the fact that a lot of homeschoolers don't know how to act in society because they live in seclusion all this time, and then whenever they go out into the real world, they just don't know how to act.
I think socially because they need to be exposed to all different kinds of people and just to prepare them for the real world, and they also need to be exposed to a lot of different viewpoints, like evolution and stuff like that. So
Some disadvantages that homeschooling might have on a child is that they might not get that social bond and the experience that others get from public school. And on top of that, there's often a chance that they're not learning the material that other students are learning, and sometimes because there's not a lot of regulations around homeschooling.
Do I think homeschooling prepares children for college? No.
No, I do not. Learning at home during homeschooling is not the same as learning in a class environment.
I think that some homeschooling prepares children for college, especially if the homeschooler or the homeschooling teacher makes sure to socialize the children and have them involved in activities, and also that they try to follow a curriculum which prepares them for the SAT.
I think that depends on the person, because I've known people who were homeschooled that didn't have the social skills, but then I have known people that have. And I've known people who went into other kinds of school that didn't have the skills. So I don't really know if that's that in combination with other things may affect it, but I don't know if it's yes or no that it gives you all the skills it needs. I think, like I said, with the others, that there's other types of clubs and interactions you can have, so I think it's just part of the whole.
Sometimes homeschooling provides the social skills needed for the real world, so long as it's not being used as a way to shelter the child from, the experience that they would get in the public school, both the bad and the good. Because, in general, if you react properly to a negative thing, you're going to learn from it. And so it's probably harder and would take more effort in a homeschooling environment to try to prepare a child socially for, what's coming.
I do think so, because there are so many homeschooling groups in each area that it provides the social interaction needed to function in society.
One thing that really kind of surprised me while I was doing the What Is videos was the positive response that I got towards homeschooling. I feel like a lot of times homeschooling has such a negative stigma around it, and people only, kind of assume that these children are locked away in a basement and are never, let out, and are only, taught one thing. But a lot of people just had really positive remarks, and I really wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, a lot of negativity toward homeschooling. But, people really showed their support for it. And I thought that was really awesome that people are starting to observe, that homeschooling can be a positive, that it can benefit children with special needs or children who learn differently, that they can get that one-on-one, interaction and education that they need, which, in the long run gives them the same opportunity of education as a child in public school. One thing that I do think is important, the guy Austin said in his interview, was that as long as, they're meeting the standards that the public school system has. I do think that needs to be a little stricter on homeschoolers, that they do need to be held to a standard, especially for math and English. So that way if they come into, a college, they're on the same exact level as all the other college students in math and English. So, I thought that was, kind of cool that he pointed out that is one thing that, needs to be considered. But, just in the long run, I thought that it was a really great experience just to get to interview people and just hear their thoughts on homeschooling and learn that, it is being seen in a new light, that it's not so much shunned anymore, that it's being accepted. So yeah, I had fun doing it. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great day.